Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to cover how to tame an Equus, why you might want to tame it, and some of the easiest ways to do so. I've seen in the past when I had to get my own one, this one here, sometimes it can appear trickier than it is, but I'm going to show you quite a simplistic way to get you one of these, because it isn't your typical taming method. They're tamed passively, and they've got quite a few unique features in how you tame them. So yeah, I'm going to just cover everything today to do with the Equus, and yeah. So in terms of the equipment that you're going to need, you're going to need yourself a full set of ghillie. You can obviously craft it, but you can get a lot of pieces from loot chests as well that you find around the world. So yep, you need a full set of ghillie, and you also need some rocket preferably. I mean, you can use kibble if you wish. It would eat simple kibble, but rocket is easier to obtain in large quantities, and obviously depending on the level of the Equus that you find will depend on how many you need. Minimum you'd need for a very low level would be like 3, but you're looking at 23 or more if you're looking at a very high level Equus. So with that said, I have got like 50 odd on me, so I've got plenty of rocket on me. We've got a very effective greenhouse at the moment, so that's why I've been able to do that. Relating back to my previous video as well, the Argentavis is able to carry the Equus. So if you watched my last video on ideal mounts and you have yourself an Argentavis at this point, you could certainly go scouting around for an Equus and grab yourself one using the Argentavis, and then take it back to a taming pen. I have a taming pen literally just behind me here, with one in, because I had to scout quite a lot of the map. I figured it wasn't worth necessarily showing you that part, but there it is. There's a wild, I think she is a level 120, yeah, level 120, so quite high level Equus. And yeah, so they can't destroy stone, so absolutely fine using a stone taming pen. And I want to use this one anyway because there's a bit more space, and you'll see in a moment that they need to run around a little bit. So we'll you'll see why. If you carry your Equus to a taming pen and it freaks out and it's running around, you won't be able to feed that Equus the carrot, because it's too busy panicking. And in that situation, you'll want to fly away, let it de-render, just chill out somewhere else on the map for maybe like a couple of minutes or so, come back and then see if it's calmed down. And at that point, if it's calmed down, that's when you can try again. So I'm literally now going to try and sneak into the pen. I really want to sneak up behind it, because if it sees me face on, then it's going to freak out. And because while the ghillie can kind of conceal me and allow me to sneak up on it, it may still spot me. So I'm going to sneak up, feed it one, and then immediately ride it. Now while I'm riding, in the bottom right corner, the bottom right corner came up with a fact that you had to feed it again, and I think now it's entered the whole panic stage. So this is it in its panic stage, so you get to see that. I don't think I can... Okay, yeah, so because I've already fed it one, I can get back on. As soon as you get a little prompt in the bottom right corner, it flashes at you, you got to feed it again. I wasn't expecting it to go quite so crazy immediately, that's why it kicked me off. So yeah, once you fed it the once, then you're good just to keep getting on and riding it. And basically you're breaking the horse and then feeding it carrots along the way. So you just got to keep it in that, keep the rockets in the last inventory slot in your bar. And then I'm just pressing, if you're on PC, you just press E to keep feeding it when it flashes. So right now it's just going to run around for a bit. Oh, there you go, feed it a bit so it doesn't buck you off. There we go. Essentially this is all that will happen. It will continue to ride around, prompt you to feed it, you feed it, and then yeah, and then that should tame it. It doesn't need a saddle to ride, but if you did add a saddle, it adds more functionality to it, and I will go over that in just a moment. I'm going to skip forward to the end of this taming process because I'm literally just gonna, I don't have any control over this riding around, so I'm literally just gonna wait here, feed it, and then yeah, there we go. We've tamed it. Happy days. So yep, this is it. It leveled up to 159, so not too bad. Like I mentioned, it doesn't need a saddle to ride, so immediately at that point, you're then good to go about your business. They aren't too quick, so I wouldn't necessarily call them the ideal mount for escaping predators, but they can certainly be used to travel around from various places. And obviously you can like breed and level up the horse's speed over time. And that will certainly help. That will certainly help allow it to get to a speed and pace that outruns most predators. In terms of its general stats, it's got a good amount of stamina. This one in particular has got quite a bit of good damage. And well, it's got okay speed, but it could do with it being better than that, to be fair. But it hasn't got any other features yet until you put the saddle on it. I do have another Equus, so we're going to jump up here, and then I will show you what was on our original Equus. And I don't want to take the saddle off because I think he's busy working away as we speak. So this is the saddle. It comes with a few features. First of all, it comes with a crafting recipe that allows you to create a lasso that you can then use to grab other players or other tames and creatures and drag them essentially. So it offers a unique build item, if you like, which is really good. And as you can tell by this very confusing inventory that it has, the saddle doubles as a mortar and pestle as well, so that enables you to then make all your usual bits and pieces. So for example, right now I've got this Equus here kind of chilling next to my greenhouse. I've got my dung beetle. Oh, hello, what's going on? If you could stay there, please. I've got my dung beetle producing the fertilizer to keep everything fertilized. I've got all these narco berries that I'm growing. I'm going to produce a video later on the most effective ways to create a greenhouse that is the most efficient and sort of space-saving way. I'm busy testing that at the moment. And then, yes, so with that, and then any spoiled meat that we get about our travels day to day anyway, combine those together here with this Equus, and I've just got a walk-in pestle and mortar. Obviously, they can also collect berries, so even if you didn't have a greenhouse or anything, you could ride around collecting berries whilst it's simultaneously making the narcotic or stimulant if you use stim berries and whatnot. So yeah, it could easily be making stuff while you ride around, so it's super effective in that respect. It has a second ability that does a backwards kick. It's not the most effective means to knock out a creature, but it is still a means to knock out a creature. So if push comes to shove and you wanted to tame something and you had absolutely no narcotics or nothing on you at all, tranquilizing darts at all, then you could always revert back to like an Equus backward kick there, which is always pretty handy. I think that ability is just a simple sort of neigh ability, and it's got like a forward attack, which is what you use to collect your berries and everything else. So yeah, that's the Equus. I regularly use this pretty much daily for its narcotic brewing purposes, but it's really quite handy for any other little situation as well, and just as a mount that you can just grab and run with. So certainly, again, quite an early to mid-game tame, and ultimately I'm pretty late game and I'm still using them. And whilst they're not the fastest, you get like the chemistry bench, which is quicker at creating all the narcotics and everything else. But it doesn't require any other special power or anything. The only thing is obviously you'd need to feed it, which, putting it like I am next to a greenhouse, then you just grow your own rockerets and just feed it that, and so it becomes a really straightforward process and tame to look after, with minimal to no effort, that moves around with you and berry collects, and yeah, it's just all round good mount to have. And I wanted to do a video on it because it is pretty straightforward to tame. There are plenty of information videos out there where They kind of tell you about taming them in the wild, but you don't, in my opinion, if you don't need to do that, then don't, because ultimately by taming things out in the wild, you're allowing the elements to have a say in things, and allowing, you know, it wasn't long into me finding this Equus that I think I used my Argentavis to actually capture this one, and I had to rest with my Argentavis, and the Equus got attacked. So that kind of threw in a conundrum of like, okay, well, I need to think about where I'm traveling, where I land. And the same will happen if you try to tame them wild, and goodness knows where you end up when you're riding them, trying to feed them carrots, and you're trying to break the horse, because you'll have little to no control over that. I mean, you could like have a team on standby protecting you while you did that, but it seems like a lot of effort for the sake of a relatively small creature that you could just put in a taming pen and tame the way that I've shown you today on the video. So I hope you found that useful and informative and helpful, and hopefully you'll get yourself some. They come in some really cool colours. I really quite like their patterning on them, and also every map that these feature in, there is always one unicorn in the world. I haven't found it yet in this Ragnarok world, but there's always one unicorn to be found. The taming process is the same, and it would eat the same foods, literally at the same amounts as well, I believe. Yeah, so it is literally tamed in the same manner as the Equus would be. So yeah, I hope you found that useful. Be sure to leave a comment below on which mount you use, and you use to utilize its sort of secondary ability that comes with its saddle, as opposed to just the primary creature itself. So for example, do you use the Argentavis' smithy side of things, or the Ankylosaurus, I think, is the same as well. I think the Phoenix can cook food as well. Do you have a Phoenix yet? So yeah, let me know which tames you use that have secondary functions that you make the most of and utilize. That would be good to know. I'll be posting videos every week, hopefully, and but between that time, I also stream on Twitch, so there'll be a link in the description below. But yeah, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you very much, everyone, and take care.